Right now, the federal government's public health emergency from COVID-19 is coming to an end. What that means for Wisconsinites moving forward.
Also, the Milwaukee Bucks' season is on the line as the Miami Heat look to play spoiler. We're live at Fiserv Forum with how the hometown fans are feeling.
And later, Aaron Rodgers is introduced as a New York Jet today. What the former Packer quarterback is saying about his new team. Welcome to News 3 now at 6. And we begin with breaking news out of Memorial High School. Madison police find a handgun on a student today.
It happened near the end of the school day. Staff received a tip that a student was carrying a firearm. Police were contacted and able to isolate the student in a secure area. That's when a search was conducted and a loaded handgun was recovered. The 16-year-old student was taken to the Juvenile Reception Center and charged with possession of a firearm on school property.
Access to free health care for COVID-19 is coming to an end, marking another milestone in pandemic recovery.
The federal government's public health emergency end date is just 2 weeks out. Tahlil Mohadeen joins us to share what that'll mean for Wisconsinites.
Well, it won't happen all at once, but a lot of the state's pandemic programs are coming to an end. So leaders from the state's Department of Health today suggest taking advantage while you still can. After months of all COVID all the time,
I would say we're thinking about it a lot less.
There appears to be an end of sorts in sight.
We can't just say, oh, it's gone, it's no longer around. It is around, and we have to be responsible.
Come May 11th, the federal government's public health emergency will no longer be in effect, taking with it many of the state's pandemic programs.
The fact of the matter is that the public health emergency was a trigger for federal and state funding.
In the coming months, as existing federal supplies run out, most services related to vaccines and testing will again require insurance or personal payment.
I get it. You have to at some point.
But even as COVID cases, hospitalizations, and deaths have decreased significantly in Wisconsin since pandemic peak, there's still some concern. The theme: we've been here before.
Seems like every time we've thought we're out of the woods, we're not out of the woods. I'm not sure what my criteria is going to be to stop wearing a mask and stop being concerned, but I'm guessing I'll know it when I see it.
It's actually that kind of caution health officials want you to consider, because regardless of scale, COVID is going to stay a part of our lives.
I do keep sanitizer, so we're still, kind of up with the sanitizer after using the carts and things like that. But as far as the mask and things, nope, kind of eliminated those.
And even as the public health emergency winds down, officials say there's still a lot we don't know about the disease and its effects. But the message to get vaccinated and stay current with the doses remains the same. DHS expects at-home testing will likely be more costly regardless of insurance status, as the state's direct-to-household program is set to end in May. COVID-19 vaccines will still be available for free until the federally purchased supply is depleted. State-run COVID telehealth will remain through December.
Flooding from the Mississippi River is now affecting traffic in some parts of Wisconsin. Over in Fountain City, a section of Highway 35 is closed as it sits under multiple feet of water. The flooding is also getting into businesses. Law enforcement are urging drivers to follow detours to avoid closures. So far, no residents have been displaced, and the flooding and road closures are expected to last at least through the weekend. So let's check our first warn forecast now with Julian Seawright.
That's right, Charlotte. And one thing about that flooding as of right now is that at least through the weekend, but some areas could see not even the fall of those water levels until about 2 to 3 weeks, especially if we get any more added precipitation. Now, this is all a result of the snow melt that we saw because of the warmer temperatures in the first half of April. As you take a look on your screen, you can see what the current levels are just into the northern side of the area from some Wabasha into Trempealeau. We're looking at the sea level for Trempealeau. If you're looking at the triple digits, that is really the sea level. But even still, multiple feet above what would even be the criteria for flooding. So major flooding is impacting all of those areas. And the crest, some of those areas have already hit it, and we're looking for it to be expected to hit that crest come tomorrow and even for Friday. And for the southern side, this is mainly towards Iowa areas that are impacted by the Mississippi River. We're still, once again, watching for that crest to be forecasted to really start to hit around Friday. So those areas are again going to be seeing those flooding issues for about 2 to 3 weeks until it really starts to get to normal water levels. So that's one thing to be watching for as that develops. But outside of that, here's what we're seeing here in Madison. Currently 53 degrees. We're going to slide into the 40s for tonight, not going to be too bad for us. Bit chilly, but again, it's not going to be nearly as cold as it was last night. Middle 30s is what we're expecting for us here in Madison. And on top of it, the cloud cover is going to be clearing up, and leading into tomorrow, it's going to be shaping up for a wonderful day. The 60s finally return. Mid-60s throughout much of southern Wisconsin. Some areas will be into the lower 60s, but plenty of sunshine. It is going to be one of those days that we've been all yearning for, to finally get out and enjoy for us after so many days of just cooler weather. But that cooler weather will return heading into this weekend with some shower activity that could be impacting much of southern Wisconsin. We're going to be breaking that down, the timing and just how much, in a few moments. Until then, back to you guys.
Julian, thank you. It is make or break time for the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. They look to come back from that 3-1 deficit in the first round of the NBA playoffs against the Miami Heat. Our Andrew Banstra is live at Fiserv Forum for tonight's game. And Andrew, what are we seeing from fans so far? Anything? Are they showing up yet?
Yeah, it's been a little bit more sparse than I maybe would have expected here at the Deer District, but the fans that I have talked to have felt pretty confident. And Eric, I say rightfully so. Sure, you're down 3-1, but also last time this team was this healthy, we know what they did, making a championship run. The Bucks this season had the best record in the NBA and opened tonight's game as an 11.5-point favorite against those Miami Heat. The Bucks are looking to cool Jimmy Butler after a Game 4 56-point masterpiece. But for the fans here, as long as Giannis plays, that's really all that matters.
I think they're going to get a win tonight. I think it's going to be a great crowd and hopefully force Game 6 in Milwaukee or in Miami, and Bucks in 7.
And that's really the only path forward for the Deer. They'll need to win tonight at home, steal one on the road in Game 6 if necessary, and then, of course, before returning, hopefully, back here to Fiserv Forum for a Game 7 on Sunday. The game tonight will tip off at 8:30. You can catch it on NBA TV. And for the Bucks, though, really, you just need to get this one tonight and then worry about the next two. We'll talk to you again at 10, but for now in Milwaukee, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Now.
Well, it's official. The Green Bay Packers have traded Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets. Today, the Jets formally introduced him as the team's new quarterback. So in exchange for Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers received a first, second, and sixth round pick in the upcoming NFL draft. Green Bay will also receive a conditional second-round pick next year. During today's press conference, Rodgers said he is excited about the new adventure.
I just really believe that this was where I was supposed to be. A lot of things had to come together, and I believe there was some major synchronization to make this happen. But I'm excited about the opportunity here. I always believed this was possible.
Coming up in sports, Sports Director Zach Hanley will have coverage on what Rodgers said about his time in Green Bay.
The Dane County Sheriff's Office wants people to know about another round of scams involving people impersonating deputies. A Madison woman reported getting a call from a man claiming to be a deputy. He told her there was a warrant out for her arrest and demanded she bring $4,000 in cash to the public safety building. As a reminder, the Dane County Sheriff's Office says law enforcement will never ask for money over the phone or by email. The Sheriff's Office says if you get one of these calls, simply hang up and report it to your local authorities. First, it looked like she was staying, but Joe Parisi's Human Services Director nominee Sheila Stubbs may in fact now be leaving the assembly seat she's held since 2019. Political reporter Will Keneally has more. Will?
Disappointed and perplexed. That's what Dane County Executive Joe Parisi said about charges leveled against Stubbs by members of the Dane County Board. There's been back and forth concerns about her nomination after this video from a church event surfaced, initially reported by the State Journal. Now, in this video, she says that she could run the county's largest agency while still holding her assembly seat at the same time, which caused some on the board to be concerned. Parisi told us new within the last few hours here that she will in fact step down from the assembly if approved by the county board. But board supervisors also raised concerns over the rhetoric that she said during the event directed at those board members.
They have to be shooken up. They have to be shooken up.
To stoke anger premised on misinformation, in my view, is dangerous. It's certainly not what we want in county leadership, and certainly not in the role of a human services director.
County Board Chair Patrick Miles there says that there's been some misinformation around how fast their confirmation is going. The county board gets to sign off on the choice, and it is unclear whether they will ultimately approve Stubbs. Now, Parisi stood by his nominee, suggesting that any suggestion of violence on her part was a leap. We reached out multiple times to Stubbs' assembly office to confirm all this, but she's unavailable today.
When we come back, new unemployment numbers for Wisconsin are now out. How the Madison area is doing compared to the rest of the state.
Plus, as the population ages, how the city of Madison is looking to make transportation more accessible for everyone. Stay with us.
To everyone who appreciates a handcrafted meal, are you ready for a taste of Wisconsin?
Butterburger's cooked fresh, just the way you like.
The way you love.
Definitely love.
And our thick and creamy frozen custard, we make it for you all throughout the day. All day.
All day, every day. Put it in the extra work and not cutting corners. Takes a little longer.
But it's how we've always done it at Culver's. Because making your meal with care shows how much we care.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Join the Circle of Life at the Lion King. Experience the world's #1 musical. Don't miss your chance to see The Lion King, one of the most awe-inspiring productions ever brought to life on stage.
Coming to Overture Center May 11th through 28th. Tickets on sale now at overture.org.
Could you keep it down? Oh, hey, sorry. I can't stop these kids from rocking, but I can help you replace all this. Rock on! With free installation on Felco windows, siding, doors, and roofing, plus no money down, no payments, and no interest for 1 year. There's never been a better time to upgrade your home. This offer ends Sunday. Hurry. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Felco.
All right, team. We got a big project coming up. And it all starts with ordering promotional products.
I'm on it. 4imprint makes it easy to get the logoed products you're looking for. The latest in apparel, drinkware, bags, high-tech items, and more. You can be certain of getting it right at 4imprint.com.
Come on out. I'm on it.
4imprint for certain.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
New data from the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development shows the Madison metro area has the lowest unemployment rate in the state. The DWD says the rate for the Madison metro area, 1.7% in March, lower than the 1.9% unemployment rate recorded in February and the 2.3% recorded a year ago. Statewide, the DWD says the unemployment rate either decreased or stayed the same in all 72 counties over the last month. Dane County remains #1. Last week, the statewide unemployment rate dipped to a record low 2.5% in March. You can find a full breakdown at channel3000.com.
Madison cab companies are getting $250,000 in grants to purchase accessible taxi cabs later this year. Accessible cabs cost between $50,000 and $60,000 each. The cab companies who get the grants would own the vehicles, but the city would maintain a lien on them, so the city could reclaim them if the cab companies stop using them. The cabs would give an additional mode of transportation for people who use wheelchairs.
And although the city does provide paratransit services, those services have an eligibility requirement and they need to be scheduled 24 hours in advance. Additionally, there are some wait times that are involved with pickups and drop-offs and a large on-time window. Whereas taxi services currently offered, and we hope to continue, are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Madison currently has 2 taxi companies, Madison Taxi and Union Cab. Right now, Union Cab has been the only company providing accessible taxi service, and their accessible vehicles are nearing the end of their useful lives.
Still ahead, there's still a month left in the school year. Why health providers say parents should already be looking ahead to the fall.
Plus, a new study finds thousands of Wisconsinites leaving college without a degree. We'll hear from a UW expert on what he's seeing.
And a warm-up is expected over the next couple of days. Julian has your complete forecast when we come back.
Get fresh ground beef, $2.88 for a 1-pound roll. And asparagus, just $1.99 a pound at Hy-Vee. That's a 1-pound roll of fresh ground beef, $2.88. And asparagus, just $1.99 a pound. Thursday only, and only at Hy-Vee.
It's Blaine's Farm and Fleet of Baraboo's grand reopening event this Thursday through Saturday. Join us for huge store-wide savings in every department. Enter daily for your chance to win over $10,000 worth of gift cards and prizes. Test a variety of new Milwaukee and DeWalt power tools and catch daily on-site demos from experts in pet, ag, automotive, and more. Don't miss Blaine's Farm and Fleet of Baraboo's grand reopening event starting this Thursday.
Find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Home. There's no place like it. It's where we gather, we celebrate, and where we make memories. At Steinhoffel's, our customers are part of our family. Always have been, and always will be. During Steinhoffel's Employee Family Price Sale, you pay what we pay. And with Steinhoffel's special 72-month financing, your new furniture just got more affordable. Shop today in store or online at steinhoffels.com.
When it's time to remodel your home, lean on the experts at Brothers Maine for all things appliances. As Madison and Janesville's local appliance authority since 1938, our experienced staff will make your project easy from concept to completion. Better than big box, Brothers Maine has a larger selection, lower prices, and professional advice to bring your vision to life. On time and on budget. From sales to install, we do it all. Feel great about your purchases and feel like family at Brothers Maine.
At Weedman Lawn Care, we believe that a lush, beautiful lawn should be enjoyed by the whole family. That's why we offer a kid and pet-friendly program to create a healthier, greener, weed-free lawn that your whole family can enjoy. Our program includes effective applications of targeted weed control and slow-release golf course quality fertilizer to achieve real results. Call or click today for your free quote, or sign up now and see the Weedman difference. Doesn't your family deserve a Weedman lawn?
Get fresh ground beef, $2.88 for a 1-pound roll. And asparagus, just $1.99 a pound at Hy-Vee. That's a 1-pound roll of fresh ground beef, $2.88. And asparagus, just $1.99 a pound. Thursday only, and only at Hy-Vee.
More and more students in Wisconsin are deciding to leave college before getting a degree.
That's according to a new study that also shows this might be an opportunity. Kyle Pozorski gives us a look at that report. Kyle?
Well, the data shows that more than 740,000 Wisconsin residents have not earned a degree after initially enrolling in college. But an expert I spoke with tells me that these numbers might actually be higher.
This is like a national trend, which has been really common over the last, I would say, decade.
Taylor Odell, an expert on higher education policy, says how people are getting their education is changing.
A growing number of people who are enrolled in college are working adult learners. So they have other kind of time commitments that they have to meet.
Those constraints and other issues like COVID have forced more and more students to drop out of college. That's led to more people having some education without a degree.
So I think on one hand, more people having some college education is not necessarily a bad thing. On average, if you look at the earnings, they still earn more on average than folks that just have a high school diploma.
Odell used to be a research fellow at the National Student Clearinghouse, which put out the report showing more students are dropping out of college. Here in Wisconsin, the number of those residents is up 3.1%, right around the national average increase of 3.6%. He says that over the past few years, they and other research firms have been gathering more data about students who have left college. That could be why the numbers are going up.
We're getting better at detecting people who were previously enrolled in college and no longer are. So the number is inflating a little bit because of that.
The data also shows that compared to their previous findings, these people have been re-enrolling, down 8.4% nationally.
So the challenge there, though, is in identifying who those people are, getting the outreach to them, getting them to kind of apply and re-engage, and then making sure that they can be successful once they enroll.
Both factors of better research and less enrollment is what has contributed to the increase.
Kyle, thank you. UW Health is urging parents to start thinking about scheduling appointments for their child's mandatory sports physicals for next fall. The WIAA requires young athletes to undergo a physical exam before participating in the first day of practice. With many primary care providers being completely booked for several weeks or even months, Now is the time to start scheduling. UW Health and other providers in the area typically offer free sports physicals for families who don't have health insurance. A date for this year's free exam clinic has not yet been set.
Chilly temperatures for today, then a bit of a warm-up. Here's Julian with your complete forecast.
Before we get to the warm-up, we're going to just start with another rehash of the flooding issues that we're seeing for the Mississippi River. Starting off with the northern gauges, this is what we're going to be watching for is the cresting, which is already happening for some areas. But we are going to be looking at, for Wabasha as of right now and towards Minnesota, well, they're actually starting to fall. But even still, currently, we're going to be looking at much of that flood levels to be several feet above what just minor or regular flooding would be. We are looking at major flooding for our friends into the northwest. Now, even for La Crosse areas, we're looking at that cresting to just be around 16 feet, and we're expecting that to hit around tomorrow and even going into Friday. And for the return for normal values for many of these areas is not going to be really seen for another 2 or potentially even 3 weeks because of just how much water we are going to be seeing for these areas. Now to the southwest, closer towards the Iowa areas, we're looking at, again, around Dubuque, around 6 feet more of water. And the cresting is around 23, a little bit more than 23.5 feet of for the cresting. And we're still looking at this to be an event that could be even historical, or at least into the top 5 in terms of major flooding as we get into the rest of what we're going to be expecting for those areas. But now let's talk about the forecast for us. Well, heading into the weekend, those are going to be participating into the Crazy Legs. Be prepared for chilly and even some rainy conditions. Light showers are going to be really expected throughout much of this weekend for us, especially as we start off for our Saturday morning and then returning as we get into our Saturday evening. Temperatures are only going to be into the lower 50s and then clearing out into being more colder as we get into our Sunday, just sticking into the upper 30s near the lower 40s. Now, we are looking for about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rainfall for us here in Madison. Areas to the southwest are Perry, Sheen, Platteville, Mineral Point, mainly close to 1/4 inch. So it's not going to be a complete washout, but it's not going to be helping the Mississippi River issue. Now let's talk about tonight. 36 degrees, not going to be as cold as it was last night. We're below freezing. Heading into tomorrow, well, planning it out, folks, it's going to be rather nice for us. We'll see around 40-degree temperatures just starting off for our Thursday morning. Plenty of sunshine, and that's right, a high of 66 degrees. It feels like a gift for us as of right now since we've been dealing with all these cool temperatures. So tomorrow's going to be a fantastic day. Sunny, 60s, we get all of it for us here in southern Wisconsin. And breaking down our 3 things we'll need to know, well, through Friday, it's going to be on the drier side, and those mild middle 60s are going to be sticking around, but it's rather briefly, because heading into the weekend again, we're looking at a return of cooler weather and even some shower potential. And not just rain showers, we could see some of that starting to mix in with some snowfall going into our Sunday nights and early Monday morning, where we're looking at temperatures just topping out into the upper 40s, and then heading into next week, we're going to be a slow improvement heading into those 60s once again. But the good news is, on the horizon, we are looking for those middle to upper 60s to return and some sunshine as well.
And coming up in sports, FaceTime Gate. Who called or who didn't call who this offseason and why it matters in the trading of Aaron Rodgers. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Shopko Optical welcomes more insurance plans than ever. Call to book an exam and verify coverage.
There are so many things we take for granted. So many things. And along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for their survival for granted too. The elderly, disabled, the veterans, people on limited and fixed incomes, or folks that lost jobs in sectors hardest hit during the pandemic. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? Some people just can't come back. And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind, struggling to keep their heat, water, and power on. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our heat, water, and power providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Leisure Concepts has your new hot tub in stock and ready for immediate delivery. Steel and composite construction and the perimeter insulation is so quiet. We'll deliver everything you need to easily keep your hot tub crystal clear, including knowledge. That neck-deep hot water massage feels amazing every day of the year. You'll never get tired of it. Get to Leisure Concepts and see almost 70 hot tubs that are ready for immediate delivery to your backyard.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Schedule your comprehensive eye exam at shopko.com or bring in your outside prescription.
A local nonprofit celebrates acts of kindness right here in the 608.
Tomorrow, learn how you can join them for an evening of storytelling that will make your heart melt.
And enjoy the warmer weather. We do have another shot of some cool weather for the weekend tomorrow between 4:30 and 7.
Aaron Rodgers is now officially a Jet, but we aren't completely done with the drama of this offseason. At his introductory press conference, the four-time MVP responded to Brian Gutekunst's comments from earlier in the week about the Packers not being able to reach Rodgers, which ultimately led them to trading him to New York.
I'm fortunate to live in a beautiful house. The only downside is I have very limited cell service. So if you want to get a hold of me, I have to see your face. You got to FaceTime me. So the only response to the communication thing is there's, records in your phone about who called you, when, FaceTime, and there wasn't any specific FaceTimes from any of those numbers.
Aren't breakups fun? Well, about 2 hours after that, Gutekunst met with the media in Green Bay to talk about the details of the trade and more specifically, if he FaceTimed Aaron Rodgers.
We try to communicate on a number of levels. Once we couldn't, we communicated with his agents quite a bit. So, I'm not going to get into that. I think that's it's not good for us, not good for them, and we're going to just kind of move forward. But I appreciate the question, but there was no lack of effort and communication on that part from us.
Meanwhile, his former head coach Matt LaFleur thanked Rodgers for their time together after the trade was made official, saying, "I've had the opportunity to work with many great players, but none better than Aaron. He was and will always be a great representative of the G and what it means to be a Packer." Luke Fickell's first Big Ten game with the Badgers just got a little tougher. Wisconsin's conference opener isn't just a road trip to Purdue, but the Badgers will take on the Boilermakers under the lights on Friday night at Ross-Ade Stadium. UW has won 9 straight at Purdue and the last 16 meetings in the series. Brewers trying to avoid being swept by the Tigers. Third inning, Crew already up 3-0. Victor Caratini gonna make it 5-zip with one swing of the bat. He gets the cheese head, and the Brew Crew get a much-needed win. 6-2 is your final. Speaking of much-needed wins, Bucks got to win tonight or it's over.
Big game tonight at Fiserv Forum. We'll recap that for you tonight as best we can. At 10 o'clock, final check of the forecast.
On the first warn, 10-day forecast is going to be showing some 60s, but it's going to be rather brief. Heading into the weekend, folks, prepare to have some rain gear and that light jacket that you're going to put away for tomorrow and Friday because it's going to be back to the chilly weather, but then we're back to 60s once again. The roller coaster continues for our April. At least we're getting some showers that may bring some May flowers next week.
All right, Julian, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
Have a great evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.